Yesterday, our last formula which we had looked on was momentum, isn't it? Momentum. So, how many of you all have found out the dimension of momentum? Okay, we'll just go on with it. Momentum is,
One
students.
plus
Momentum is,
one.
yes. Okay, good. Mass into momentum is mass into velocity. So first step I told you is basically to put the thing in the bracket. So what it means when you put it in a bracket, it simply means that you are finding out the dimension. So it's important to specify that you are doing it in terms of dimensions. Okay. Otherwise, it can mean any other thing. So let's be specific when we are doing physics. Okay. So now, what is the dimension for mass? We all know that mass dimension is m1, l0, t0. Okay, L0 and T0 does not have necessarily any meaning to it except for mass, which is raised to 1, and velocity is of course equal to displacement upon time. Displacement upon time can be written down as what, students? Tell me. What can be written down as?
LT minus 1.
LT minus
Yes,
one.
LT minus 1. So LT minus 1. So ultimately you can add up. What are you getting? M1, L1 and T raised to minus 1. These are your dimensions for momentum. This is basically your dimension for momentum. Okay, I want you all to find out the dimension for force now. Force. Take any formula for force and try to
MLT
find out.
minus 2.
MLT minus 2.
Okay, great. You all have become very fast now. So finally, anyways, force is equal to, you can take any formula, students, does not need to be what I'm taking, mass into acceleration, which is the most common. Okay, we can take dimensions with respect to brackets over here. Once we do that, simply you know that mass is going to be, of course, m raised to 1, and you can add everything else which is raised to 0. Acceleration will be meter per second square, or you can say it's going to be velocity upon the square of the time, and so it is going to be what, students? Tell me, acceleration, is it bad for you? It's
LT
going to be,
minus 2.
LT minus 2.
so ultimately what are you getting for this? Tell me. You'll get m1
M1,
L1
L1.
t raised to minus 2. Okay, t raised to minus 2. Now some students basically at the end moment they try to by heart these things. So my tip is, don't by heart all these things. Try to use your mind. Try to use your mind. You can also see acceleration is what, meter per second square. So it will be L1 upon t raised to 2. At t raised to 2, you can take it up. So you'll get m1 L1 t raised to minus 2. Okay. Now let's go to another one. Let's try to understand gravitational constant, students. Gravitational constant. Find out for gravitational constant. Which formula we can use here? Can we use force is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square? What is this? Basically, this was a simple expression derived by Newton, that when there is two masses, okay, and they are at a distance of r, okay, the force of m1 with respect to m2, okay, the force between two objects due to gravity, okay, due to gravity, the concept which will be coming on very soon, is proportional to both the masses. The force between these two objects is proportional to the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So if at all you don't know this, I think you all know this, but still. Anyways, try to find out what G is, students. If I have to find out what G is, just rearrange the term first. What is G going to be? G is going to be equal to r square f
ML
upon m1 m2. Yes or no? Yes. Now we are going to find out the dimensions. Put everything in the bracket. Yes or no? Once you put it into the bracket, students, listen here. This means that you're finding out dimensions. Now, r square is what, students? It is length only. R square is length only. So we'll write what? L raised to 2 for that. Okay. Force is what, students? Force is, tell me, m1 L1
MLT minus 2.
t minus 2. Mass is what, students? Mass is m. There are two masses here, so it will be m raised to 2.
M square.
M square. So ultimately, now you can find out what is gravitational constant going to be. L square. It was going to be L cube. I can say here L cube is there. Then what else I'm getting? M1 minus 2 because I took 2 up. What remains? T is basically going to be minus 2 only. Ultimately, my answer is, if you rearrange the term, it is going to be m raised to minus 1, L raised to 3, and T raised to minus 2. This is going to be my dimensions for gravitational constant. This is going to be my dimensions for gravitational constant. So now, if this is clear, let's go to another one. I hope you all are understanding. I hope each and everyone is paying attention. Let's look for current. So find out the dimensions of current, students. What is current equal to? I is equal to charge upon time. Number of charges passing through a certain wire upon time. So if I have to find out the, let's find out the dimension of charge. What is the dimension of charge here? Charge is Q. Charge is basically Q.
80.
Okay. Q can be written, yes, correct. Q can be written as I into T. Yes or no? And dimensions of current is what, students? Can you tell me, all of y'all? Dimensions of
A.
current is? Yes.
Ampere.
A raised to 1 and T raised to 1. So this is the dimensions for charge. These are the dimensions for charge. Let's go to another one. Let's go and find out what is the dimension of potential. What is potential? The battery. Okay, V is equal to, you can use a formula, V is equal to IR, or you can use, if you want to find out potential, or let's say, let's find it out through this formula. Okay, let's find it out through this formula, that V is equal to E by Q. Okay, this is basically used in your electricity. You will study this in chapter in 12th standard. So look, you necessarily don't need to know the formula. Okay, it will be given to you. I think mostly. But look here, V is equal to E by Q, and E is here. E is energy. Energy. V is potential. And of course, Q is charge. So first, to understand what is the dimension of potential, first we'll have to remove the dimensions of energy. Any one formula, like you can take Einstein's formula, E is equal to mc square, right? E is equal to mc square. M is what, students? M is mass.
Mass.
And c is what, students? Speed of light. So we can take it as speed only. So try to find a formula for E is equal to mc square. What are the dimensions of it? First thing is bracket.
ml to t minus 2.
minus 2.
Yes, so it is going to be m. Speed is what? Display a distance upon time. So it is going to be L square and T raised to minus 2. Why? Because it is squared. Okay, so now you found out what energy is. Energy's dimensions are this, right? Divide this by Q. What we had found out just now recently, Q was what? A into 80.
80.
80. So you're going to get 80 over here. So what is this giving you, students? This is giving you the dimension of potential. Potential is simply something voltage, just like a battery. So what are you going to get, students, with this? You can see you're getting M1 L2 T raised to minus 3, and of course A raised to minus 1. This is going to be the dimension of your potential. I hope these things were very easy for all of you. Okay. Now let's look at one question which I want to give you. See, listen to me. I won't be writing down this question. Just let me write down, just hear the question first. Of the following quantities, which one has a different dimension from the remaining two? Okay, they are telling you that there are basically 4 things they have given you. They have given you energy per unit volume. Second, they have given you is force per unit area. Third thing they have given you is angular moment per momentum per unit mass. And fourth, they have given you, so they are telling you basically, the question is which of these has a different dimension? Which of these 3 has a different dimension? So what we have to do, find
3.
out the dimension. Okay, someone already answered. Okay,
Yes,
great.
3.
3. Okay, so let's solve this. Okay, For those who are uh, not getting it, look here. Let's look at energy per unit volume. So energy per unit volume E is equal to, of course, is going to be mc square upon volume. We can use this formula. This is volume, right? Apply the dimension m, going to be c square volume. Just now we found out that the dimensions were mc square was what, students? What was it?
ml square t minus 2.
ml square t minus 2. And if you divide that ml square t minus 2 upon volume, students, will be
L
what? What will you get? M raised to
L
1.
ml minus 1 t
M
minus
raised to minus 1, t raised to minus 2. So this is what, this is energy. Now write this in your books. Okay, write this in your books. This is energy per unit volume. Let's look at the second one. Second one was force per unit area. Force per unit area, simply use the formula F is equal to, you can use force F upon A, force per unit area. That is simply a mass upon mass into acceleration upon area. Be very specific with your alphabets. If you write a capital A, it will mean something. So m1, okay, and acceleration is meter per second square, that is L1 t raised to minus 2 upon area, students, is what? L raised to 2. So what are you getting? M1 L raised to minus 1 t raised to minus 2. So is this the same thing as the first one, or is it different? Is it the same thing or
Same
different?
thing.
Same.
It's the
Same
same
thing.
thing. It's the same thing. Okay. Now the third thing is what? Third thing was angular momentum per unit mass. So angular momentum is what, students? Can we write angular momentum as L by M? Angular momentum which we have studied is mvr upon m. Basically my m and m gets cancelled. It is just v into r. V is basically what? Tell me, what is v?
Velocity.
Velocity. It is going to be m0
lt minus 1.
L1 t raised to minus 1. And of course, R is what? L only. R is L only. So you're going to get L raised to 2 t raised to minus 1. L raised to 2 t raised to minus 1. So this is different, isn't it? This is different. So the third one is going to be different. So these are the type of questions which come students. These are the type of questions which will be getting. And students, in case if someone is not understanding, in case any one of y'all is not understanding something, you can definitely send me a private message. Just if you feel that you're not getting it, so you can send me a private message, and I will address your doubt. I will address your doubt without taking your name. So that way. Okay. Now listen to me, students. How are dimensions useful in physics? How are dimensions useful in physics? Okay. So let's study this concept called principle of homogeneity. What does principle of homogeneity mean? Okay. So suppose there are two quantities in addition or subtraction. Okay. They should have the same dimension. So suppose I am saying that there is something over here. There is a dimension over this. There is an expression. Let's say that this expression is basically A equals to B plus C, or A is equal to B minus C. So in this case, students, okay, principle of homogeneity says in case of a dimension that the dimension of A should be equal to dimension of B, and also should be equal to the dimension of C. Or in other words, it can also be the dimension of A should be equal to dimension of B minus dimension of C. Basically, the dimension of B and C should be equal to the dimension of A. This is called principle of homogeneity, and this is valid for all the formulas, students. This is valid for all the formulas. So basically, whenever you are given a formula, students, like let's suppose it is some E is equal to mc square or momentum or whatever, you can find out whether that that particular formula is correct or not in terms of dimensions. If it is not correct, that means the formula is wrong. Okay, every formula has to be following this principle of homogeneity. Okay, every formula. So this is also used for basically correcting formulas. After scientists or any professors which are studying a particular subject, okay, they come up with certain expressions. They have to find whether that expression which they have found out is following the principle of homogeneity. Okay. Second thing, students, is the quantities on either side of the expression. Okay, this should be the same. Just now I explained. Third point is using the principle, we can check the correctness of the physical equation. So just now all 3 points I have explained to you. Okay, why principle of homogeneity is used and how dimensions is used to resolve a problem, resolve such equations. So let's do it for one particular equation. Let's do it for one particular equation, students. Let's take this equation. V is equal to from your basic kinematics, V is equal to U plus AT. Okay, V is equal to U plus AT. So here let's talk about LHS. Let's talk about LHS. LHS is what? Velocity. Okay, so find out the dimensions of velocity, students. Velocity is equal to, just now all of you all know, I know it, but you all can tell me, no problem. Displacement upon time. Displacement upon time means distance upon time, t raised to minus 1. So velocity here is L t raised to minus 1. Now let's look at RHS. If you look at the right hand side, students, now if you look at the right hand side, what is U? U is initial velocity. Initial velocity also is velocity only. So initial velocity U will have the same dimensions, as velocity. So that also will be Lt raised to minus 1. Acceleration also, this term here, acceleration into time. Let's find out that. So what is acceleration into time going to give you, students? Again, what will it give you? Acceleration is what? L t raised to
T
minus
minus
2
LT
into t. Yes or no? So what are you getting with this? Again, you are getting L t raised to minus 2 plus 1 minus 1. So you can see here that velocity which is on the LHS has a dimension of Lt raised to minus 1, and velocity, initial velocity also has the same dimension over here. Acceleration into time also together gives you the same dimension. So you can see the principle of homogeneity is being applied in this formula. Principle of homogeneity is being applied in this formula. Let's look at the next. Let's look at another problem. Let's say that I want to find out the principle of homogeneity on this equation. Let's say it is V square. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. These are your basic kinematic equations. Find out, students. Find out what is V square going to be. Lt raised to minus 1. Okay, I'm doing it directly, but let's not do it directly. Okay, V, of course, square is equal to U square. You can find out it yourself and tell me whether it's following or not. Okay. Now here, students, I want you to see 2 is a constant, so you can keep 2 out over here. There is no dimension of a constant. This is going to be A and this is going to be S. Okay, so now you can see V square dimension is L t raised to minus 1. Okay, and it is whole square. So you're going to get equal to U square also will have a dimension of, because it's velocity, Lt raised to minus 1 whole square plus 2. Acceleration is Lt raised to minus 2. How it is Lt raised to minus 2? It is basically velocity upon the square of the time t square. So I have written Lt raised to minus 2, and it's going to, what are you going to get, students, here? S is what? Displacement.
Speed.
L no, it's going to be L.
हाँ.
So, yeah, okay. So it's going to be L2 t raised to minus 2 equal to, again, L2 exponents are basically multiplied, don't add them up. T raised to minus 2 plus 2 L2, why L and L over here, they add up, exponents add up here, t raised to minus 2. So you can see here again the principle of homogeneity is applied, that initial LHS equal to RHS, students. And so apart from the constant, you don't need to pay attention to that. And so by the principle of homogeneity, I can say that this equation is dimensionally correct. What word I will use is basically it is dimensionally correct. Okay. So see, although it looks simple for us, yes, it is simple because we are just looking at some basic things, students. But I expect you all to go further. If you look at your reference books and all, there are good examples for you to solve. Okay. Now, whenever we come across a new chapter and whenever we come across new formula, students, I expect you to remove the dimensions yourselves. Okay. So every time we won't be spending our time in doing dimensions, isn't it? Now look here. Let's look at this formula. Okay. What is basically, okay, fine, we can use it for correctness, correcting the equation, or anything. But there is another important aspect to the students. What is the important aspect is, if suppose velocity v was given to you in terms of a, b and c, a plus b upon let's say t plus c into t square, students, if it was given in this term, then you can use this principle of homogeneity to basically find out what a is, what b is, and what c is. Okay, that is the amazing thing of this. So let's say by principle of homogeneity, I can say that my dimension of velocity should be equal to dimension of a, yes or no? Principle of homogeneity. It should also be equal to dimension of b upon dimension of t, and it should also be equal to dimension of c into dimension of t square. All these dimensions should be equal. Now, if I know my LHS dimension is basically what, students? L t raised to minus 1.
Minus.
Okay. So this should be equal to dimension of A. This should be equal to dimension of A. Yes or no? So let's say that A is equal to L t raised to minus 1. This is our first equation. This is our first equation. What is going to be the second equation here, students? Can you tell me? Here you can see that B is equal to what, students? You can say that B by T here is equal to V. So I can write B is equal to what, students? I can write B is equal to V into T. And dimensions of B will be equal to dimensions of V into dimensions of T. That will give me B is equal to what, students? Tell me first. LT raised to
LT
minus 1
minus 2
into
LT
L, into
minus
T.
2
Sorry.
into T.
Yeah,
So
so that will give you what,
LT
students?
minus-
It will give.
LT minus.
LT
What will
minus
it give
2
you? Aha, LT minus 1, this is velocity dimension, multiplied by T only. What will it give you? Plus 1 over here.
L.
So T becomes 0.
L.
Yes, so B is
L.
equal to, yes, B is equal to L. A is
Okay.
equal to LT raised to minus 1. Similarly, now you try to remove for C also. Come on, every one of you all, remove. What are you getting, students? For C, you will get CT square. Here you
LT
can see
minus
C,
3.
right? CT
3
square
minus
is equal
3.
to, right? CT square is equal to V, I can write. So C is equal to V upon T square, I can write. V, dimension of V is equal to LT raised to minus 1, LT raised to minus 1 upon T raised to 2. So LT raised to minus 1 plus 2, minus 2, and you are going to get
LT,
LT raised to minus 3. LT raised to minus 3. So now, students, you found out the dimensions of A, B, and C. Let me write that again. Okay, let me write all the dimensions of A and B and C which we found out, and you will see this amazing result that we are getting. That A was what? A was LT raised to minus 1. Yes or no? B is, correct me if I'm wrong. B we found out was L, and C was equal to what? C was equal to LT raised to minus 3. So you can see here that if I have to remove the units of A, what will it be? It will be meter. Why meter? Because we are always using international standard system. That is what SI units. We'll be using SI units, and we'll be following the meter. Okay, the meter unit over here. Meter per, what it will be? Meter per second.
Second.
Here, this will be what? Just meter.
Meter.
And this will be what? Meter per second cube.
Meter per
Students.
second
Meter per
cube.
second
Then
cube.
cube.
Excuse me,
Yes.
sir.
So,
That
yes,
too
correct.
should be LT raised to 1, no?
What are you saying? Can you repeat
Sir,
that?
sir,
The
can you
value
again
of B
show
should
the
be LT raised to 1, no?
L raised to 1, you're saying? Oh, LT raised to 1. Right. LT raised to 1. Okay. We found out B is LT raised to 1, students.
yes.
No, sir. B is L.
We
No,
found out
it's L.
B
It's
is
L.
L.
Yes, sir.
L is L. Okay, I will solve the problem again. Look here. Only for B. B by T is equal to V. So B is equal to what? V into T. Dimension of V is what? LT raised to minus
LT
1
minus
plus 1. So T becomes 0 here. So what remains is L. So I have written
L.
meters here. I hope that doubt is solved. Okay?
Yes,
So, okay. So look here. So we are getting A as, so look here, with the help of principle of homogeneity, even if you are given a expression which is in terms of A, B, and C here, you can find out what A, B, and C is. That's the beauty of this. That is the beauty of this. Okay. So now let's look at another thing, students. Another important aspect of this dimensions, and this important aspect, students, here is using conversion. Using it for conversion. Basically, we are converting yesterday we had seen system of units, CGS unit to SI unit and MKS unit, foot pound second unit systems. So we can also use it for conversion. And how will we do that? Look at it. Look at this thing. Okay. This question is basically telling me that find the conversion or a factor between SI unit and CGS unit of force. Okay. So they are telling me that force, I have to try to convert this from SI unit, from an SI unit to a CGS unit. So how do we do that? Okay. First of all, let's say that this is given to you that SI unit is in Newton. Okay. What is SI unit, students? The unit of force in terms of SI. It's Newton, and in CGS unit it is dyne, dyne. So we have to convert Newton into dyne. It's like converting kilometers to meters. It's similar thing. Just SI unit and CGS unit is the difference. So how much is 1 Newton going to be equal to in terms of dyne? That is what we have to
10
find out.
raised
That
to
is-
5.
10 raised
Okay.
to
Raised to
5.
5.
Great. Okay. So look here, for students who don't know,
वर्ग है.
look here, that one Newton, suppose 1 Newton here, 1 Newton is equal to, you don't know how many times it is with respect to dyne. So you write x into dyne, x into dyne. Now you know that basically Newton is what? 1 Newton is basically the unit of force. It is mass into, you can write F is equal to ma. F equals to m into a. So here mass is what? Mass is, I can say unit of mass is kg. Acceleration I can write is meter per
Meter
second
per
square.
second square.
Meter per second square. Yes or no? So from this itself, from the unit of mass and acceleration itself, immediately you can remove the dimension. That is, I can say m1 L1 raised to t raised to
T
minus 2.
minus.
T raised to minus 2. So if I have got this, okay, but this is not important here. Look here, I am saying that force is equal to mass into acceleration. You got the units. You can write 1 Newton in the form of what is, you can write 1 Newton as kg meter per second square. Now if I have to convert it into CGS systems, students, just by listening to CGS, you should know CGS full form is what? Centimeter, gram and second. So kg has to be converted into kg has to be converted into gram. Okay, kg has to be converted into gram. Meter has to be converted into centimeter, and second will remain as it is. Okay, because in CGS unit, second and SI unit, its second is the same. So kg into gram will give you how much, students? How much is kg towards gram? If I have to convert it, kg, 1 kg is how many grams?
1000.
1000. I can say it is 10 raised to 3. Okay. Then meter is how many times centimeter? Meter is equal to how many?
100.
10 raised to 2. So this entire thing, students, instead of writing kg meter per second square, okay, I can write it as 1. Okay, I can write 10 raised to 3, 1 into 10 raised to 3 grams. Okay, 10 raised to 3 grams into 10 raised to 2 centimeters upon seconds only. So it is going to be what? 10 raised to 5, 10 raised to 5. Instead of kg, I will now write gram. Instead of meter, I will write centimeter. And instead of, second will remain the same, second square. So you can see that I have converted 1 Newton into CGS unit. And in CGS unit, students, 1 Newton can be referred to as dyne. So we don't know how many times it was dyne. And we got the factor now, it is equal to 10 raised to 5. So 1 Newton is equal to how many dynes, students? 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised
10
to
raised
5
to
dynes.
5 dynes.
10 raised to 5 dynes. So listen to me. Why do we use this, students? Why do we use this? Is to convert. It becomes easy to use this kind of a method to find out conversion factors. Of course, you can do the very same thing with the help of dimensions. We can do the same thing with the help of dimensions. Here I did it with what? Here I did it with using the units. Same thing if I write 1 Newton is equal to x times dyne. Okay, x times dyne. Okay, I know that 1 Newton is basically a force, right? Force is mass into acceleration. And I got mass into acceleration dimension to be, okay, kg meter per second square. So let's say m1 L1 t raised to minus 2. Let's say this is all belonging to one category and is equal to x times dyne. Dyne also has to be the same unit. Okay, dyne also will have the same units and it will have the same dimensions. Okay, it will have the same dimensions. So let's say It is going to be M1 L1 T raised to minus 2. Same dimensions, but of course this is some other unit, so we'll write 2 over here down, which says that this belongs to dyne, this belongs to Newton. Don't get confused. Now look here, if that is there, then X can be written down as M1 L1 T1 raised to minus 2 upon, I can write it as M2 L21 and T raised to 2 minus 2. And here you can just divide and see what you will get. Can I say that I will get, here, look here, M1 was what in terms of kg? So I will write kg here, look here, I will write kg here. And this M2 was what? Grams. Similarly, L1 was what? It was meters. L2 was what? Centimeters. Why gram centimeters? This is CGS unit. L2 belongs to CGS unit. L1, this upper numerator belongs to SI unit. So you can see what I'm doing here. And this of course belongs to, both of this in seconds are basically what? The same in both the systems. So you can see here that one, you can write kg in terms of grams here. So it will be 10 raised to what? 10 raised to 3 grams. And mass meters will be 10 raised to 2 meters.
2 meters.
So here you already got, see, gram gets cancelled, centimeter will get cancelled, and second gets cancelled. 10 raised to 3 into 10 raised to 2 is what, students? It's 10 raised to 5. 10 raised to 5. So my X is equal to 10 raised to 5. So anyways, 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to 5. 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to 5 dynes. So these are two alternative methods which you can use. You can use the first one because first one is quite faster. This is the way you use it in dimensions. If at all they have asked you in terms of dimensions, you will do this. And if at all they have asked you generally, then you can use the first method in terms of your board exam. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so I think how many minutes are there now? So there are 3 minutes, students. 3 minutes are there. Yes. Can you find out? If I tell you to find out the basic dimension, let's say, find the conversion factor between SI unit and CGS unit for energy. Let's say energy from SI unit to CGS unit. If you know it, you can hit a message. You can write it down in the chat. Okay, so I want you all to try this. Let's say energy is basically in SI unit it is in the form of joule, and in CGS unit it is in the form of ERG.
10 raised to 7.
Yes, someone got it.
10 raised to 7.
10 raised to 7.
Okay, so here you can see here. Okay, I want everyone to try it out. 1 joule is equal to X times ERG. X times ERG. Now what is joule? Joule is what? Energy. And energy can be written down as mc square. Okay, mc square. But here joule is in which form? It is in SI unit form. Okay, so you will be using kg, meter and second here. And CGS unit is in which form? Centimeter, gram and second. So 1 joule here in terms of SI unit is what, students? It is, if I say it is mc square, unit will be what? M is kg and c is what? Speed of light. So I will write meter per second square, and of course this is going to be squared, sorry, meter per second whole square, and it will be kg meter square upon second square. Dimensions of this will be what? Kg is what, students? Not dimensions, forget dimensions. Kg meter square per second square, right? I have to convert this into what? CGS unit. Convert it into CGS unit. So 1 kg is how many grams? 10 raised to, tell me, 10 raised to 3 grams.
10 raised to 3 grams.
And meters is how many into centimeters? 10 raised to 2 meters.
10 raised to 2 for
Centimeters.
Oh,
Yes or no? But this you can see here is what? Meter square. So you will square it up. Okay, second square will remain as it is because in both the unit seconds are the same. So 10 raised to 3 into, what are you getting? 10 raised to 4. How much is that, students? 10 raised to 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. So what happens? Your X is equal to what, students, now? X is equal to 10 raised to 7. So 1 joule is 10 raised to 7 ERG. 1 joule is 10 raised to 7 ERG. Okay, students, so that's it for the day. Thank you for joining the class. Hope you have understood a few things. Tomorrow, I want you all to try this same thing in terms of dimensions. This was not in terms of dimension. Do this in terms of dimensions and tell me, let me know whether you got it tomorrow or not. Take care, students. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.